Going to call to order the Finance Committee meeting for October the 4th, 2021. We will have the invocation led by Mayor Marlon Coleman, followed by the flag salute. If you'll stand.
Let us pray. Lord, we give you thanks for this day. Father, we are just so grateful that with everything going on, you have still had your hand of favor on Muskogee. And I pray your blessing, oh God, upon us, that as we move through tonight's agenda, Lord, that we do it with your presence in mind, Father, that we may be less of ourselves and more about you for the betterment of the citizens of Muskogee. Bless us on this night. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Flag salute, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get into tonight's agenda, we will yield the floor at this time. Our mayor has a proclamation as well as other acknowledgments at this time.
Let me say good evening to all of us. I'm going to ask that Councilwoman Evelyn Hibbs will join me on the floor at this time. Councilor Hibbs is the Executive Director for Women in Safe Homes. The month of October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Councilwoman Hibbs has served this community well to be certain that that issue which plagues so many homes across our country never gets overlooked, that those people who are victims, both male and female, know that they have help somewhere. And we're just so honored to be able to have WISH, Women in Safe Homes, here in the city of Muskogee. As the mayor of the city, one of my many duties is to be certain that we properly acknowledge the many organizations that contribute to the safety and well-being of our citizenship. And so today, it is my pleasure to present the Executive Director of Women in Safe Homes, Councilwoman Evelyn Hibbs, with a proclamation that acknowledges that the month of October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the city of Muskogee. And with the chairman's permission, I've also asked to acknowledge Mr. Eric Elgin, if you will come forward at this time. Today, Muskogee Public Schools had several classes to participate in the Junior Achievement BizTown program. For those of you who may not know, Junior Achievement has a facility in Broken Arrow that has different storefronts set up where the young people from different schools can go in and learn what it means to run a city. What does it mean to grow economic development? And by the selection of his peers and teachers, Eric Elgin was the mayor of BizTown on today. And I was happy to acknowledge him because for the first time in many years, the actual mayor of Muskogee, myself, was a volunteer when the young people from Muskogee had the opportunity to run their own city. So I just wanted to acknowledge Junior Mayor Eric Elgin. And we're going to take a selfie. We didn't get our selfie earlier. So. And he was busy. He was signing checks, making speeches, signing people up to speak. He was a real mayor. Thank you. The last thing I'll say along the same subject lines is that we'll be reaching out to Junior Achievement to help us set up a similar program in the city of Muskogee, where on a monthly basis we have young people that get the opportunity to be junior mayor as well as junior council person. So thank you all.
Proceeding at this time with our Finance Committee agenda. Agenda item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of September 20, 2021, or take other necessary action.
Reviewing of the minutes, are there any corrections or additions to our minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve our minutes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Receive presentation on the 2021 Oklahoma Festival of Ballooning and take other necessary action.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Mr. Chairman and committee members, City Manager Miller asked that I would do a presentation with regard to our most recent events. We just finished Jeep Jam this past weekend, and prior to that we did Local Motion, but we're going to come to a later meeting for those 2 events. So I was just going to share with you the best way to do that is through photos or videos. This is a short video from our Festival of Ballooning that we had at the end of August. And Bruce, if you want, yeah. So as you can see, it was an exciting 2 nights of great entertainment, and the balloons are just gorgeous. We had great weather. We had great turnout. We want to thank the City Council for providing funding for our balloon festival. We want to thank the Tourism Board for helping with marketing our campaign. They really went all out and helped to promote the event. And I'd like to thank our many sponsors. Without listing them, I didn't bring the list, but in particular, Love Bottling, they were our presenting sponsor this year, and many others that also continue to support us and sponsor us. And I'd like to thank the Parks and Recreation staff. This is a Parks Department event that we put on. It takes a lot of man hours and a lot of work to do. So that's really my presentation. If there's any questions, I try to handle. We had an enormous turnout, bigger this year than ever. In particular, Friday night was a pretty normal crowd, but Saturday night was twice as we've ever seen. So we've got to be prepared for that next year. So with that, I'll answer any questions if anybody has one.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Wilkerson at this time?
Great job. It was a great event and a great turnout. Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate
Wonderful
it.
weekend from us.
Yes, most definitely.
Wonderful weekend from us.
All right. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval of a contract amendment to provide an additional 3-year agreement with Kansas City Aerosports to supply ballooning activities for the Oklahoma Festival of Ballooning to be held at Hatbox Field, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Wilkerson?
So Kansas City Aerosports is the company that we use. Chris and Amanda Savia, they're a married team that has the Kansas City Aerosports. We entered into a contract with them, a 3-year agreement 3 years ago, to provide the services to bring the Balloon Festival here. They actually own the rights to the Oklahoma Hot Air Balloon Championships that we have during our weekend event, and so they bring that as well. We've been very satisfied with the work that they provide and the services they provide. They provided the amendment that was in your packet to extend that agreement for 3 more years. It is still based on us having funding for the event, so it's not there's no guarantee to them that we will provide them the financial contract each year, but we'd like to recommend that we proceed again with Kansas City Aerosports.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any discussion?
Yes, Mark, did we break even on this year?
Our financials are not quite complete, and my guess is we will still not break even as far as our income and expense. It's a pretty expensive event for us to do, and we kind of know that. The rationale is that we're bringing a high-quality event for Muskogee to hang our hat on and for tourism. So we hope to grow our tourism and see a reflection in hotel stays with it.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 3 passes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of final payment to Williams Contracting, LLC for the Depot Green, project number 2019019, in the amount of $78,283.56, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Mr. Chairman and committee members, this is the final payment request for Williams Contracting. I hope everybody has been enjoying and been at the Depot Green for one of our events. The final closeout has kind of been delayed because of landscaping that they still need to require, but we've agreed that we go ahead and close out their final close out the contract with their final payment. There's a letter of a extended warranty for the trees. The trees are something that aren't just available any time of the year, so they'll be available this winter for them to come in replacement. So there's an acknowledgement about the trees that's still to be replaced. We're very pleased with the project. Williams Contracting has been very great to work with.
You've done a great job. Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 4 passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval to designate funds received under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 in the amount of $651,800 as a set-aside for water and sewer infrastructure projects in the John T. Griffin Industrial Park, or take other necessary action.
Mayor Coleman?
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, we are pleased to announce to our community that Muskogee has been approved for $6.4 million under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Those funds that have been allocated are one-time funds that small cities across America will normally not have the opportunity to take advantage of. Fortunately, the way the law was written, even though we are a non-entitlement city, which means that we are under a population of 500,000, we still were awarded these funds. These funds can mostly be used for water and sewer projects as well as broadband projects. What this designation does is allow us the opportunity to finally have shovel-ready land available in the John T. Griffin Industrial Park. We commonly refer to this area as the Southside Industrial Park. For decades, this land has been available, but has not been shovel-ready. When I say shovel-ready, we have had organizations and companies who would like to invest in Muskogee, who see that Muskogee is the ideal location for projects because of our proximity to rail, highway, waterway, and airway. The deterrent to many of those companies is that we have huge tracts of land that are developable but cannot be used because we do not have water and sewer infrastructure tying into those lands. As a result, those businesses and organizations have invested at competing areas whose names I will not mention on camera. But we want to be in a situation in our community that we are no longer second to industry, that we are first when we are being considered for this type of development. The dollar amount of $651,800 is half of what it costs to run sewer and water to the industrial park. The county is expected to take up a similar item where they will match the half that we are putting in tonight. Should we move forward, this puts Muskogee in a different light in terms of development. We have potential developers now who are looking at the John T. Griffin Industrial Park, whose investment over a 5-year period can exceed $1.2 billion. That's a huge investment for the people of Muskogee. For those who have concerns about the location, think about the castle. The castle of Muskogee is on what we call the buffer, which is in immediate proximity to the city, but it is in the county. Yet Muskogee is the primary beneficiary to every event, to every attraction that takes place in this area. We know that this investment in the John T. Griffin Industrial Park will be no different, that the primary beneficiary will be the residents of Muskogee. Imagine a Muskogee that has opportunity to have private development make an investment exceeding $1.2 billion. That has not happened in anyone's lifetime here in Muskogee. And now we have the opportunity to make that happen. So, Mr. Chairman, having that in consideration, I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any questions for Mayor Coleman? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 5 passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval to receive donated funds for the months of June, July, and August 2021 in the amount of $5,666.97 for the city's animal shelter sponsorship program as per the attached list, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Evans?
Yes, good afternoon. These funds were donated June and July and August to our animal shelter sponsorship program. These funds are used for the spaying and neutering of animals at our animal shelter. As a reminder, all animals that leave our facility, whether they be adopted or they go to rescue, every animal is spayed or neutered when they leave our facility. So these funds are instrumental in making sure that continues to happen. And staff recommends approval on accepting these funds. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 6 passes, and with that item passing, that is our final item for our Finance Committee.
Welcome to tonight's Public Works Committee, October 4th, 2021. Item number 1.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of September 20, 2021, or take other necessary action.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
And the motion passes. Item number 2.
Hold a public hearing and take action on the approval of ordinance number 4131A to rezone property addressed as 5028 West Okmulgee, being more particularly described in the ordinance from C1 Local Commercial to C2 General Commercial, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city to reflect said change or take other necessary action.
We will now open the public hearing. Ms. Callahan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Committee members, this is a request from Ronnie Boswell. He is the applicant. The owners are the Inhofe Land and Cattle Company. It is a request to rezone property from C1 local commercial to the C2 general commercial. It's located at 5028 West Okmulgee. The reasoning that he stated was to allow for expanded lease options. This is the site. Closer view. This is our current atlas map that shows the site and its current zoning and surrounding zonings. The site is zoned C1 local commercial. It's the two buildings there. To the north is single-family residential. To the west is Highway 16 West Okmulgee. Across the highway, it's zone C1 local commercial. To the east is C1 local commercial, and then farther on down there is some C2. To the west is C1 local commercial, however the use is a mobile home parks. The request is to go from the C1 local commercial to the C2 general commercial. Staff recommend approval, however, Planning Commission denied the request. Be happy to answer any questions. I don't believe the applicant is here, but there may be some that are signed up to speak.
I had a question. Why would planning deny the request based on?
The potential use under the C2 zoning classification. And as I stated to them, and any zoning classification, I don't look at one particular potential use. I look at what would be used or could be used at a C2 zone, especially with the building that's already built. It was a tire shop, had the brick portion. I remembered a long time ago. It was a restaurant, Mexican restaurant, but it was a tire shop and auto repair, and it has lost its legal nonconforming, and it would not be allowed to be reopened as an auto shop or tire shop without the C2 zoning classification.
We do have two citizens signed up to speak. Shelley Sorry, would you please come to the microphone and give your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Hello, my name is Shelley Suri, and I live at 4904 West Broadway Street, which would be 1 block behind the building of 5028 Okmulgee. And I'm not sure exactly what they want to rezone it for, but if it's for a marijuana grower or dispensary, I am opposed to that. As previously stated, that it is a trailer park on the side, where children live. Behind it is single residence homes, which is where I live, and several other people. And it's also elderly people that live in that area. And it is just not a good area or a good place to have a marijuana dispensary or a grower. Also, that you could see on that PowerPoint that there is also a car shop. I guess it's a auto repair place. There's actually 2 of them. And on West Okmulgee, they're eyesores. They're dilapidated, they're old, they have a lot of cars that's sitting out there, and it's just a hazard. And I really hope that you take into consideration that there's families, old and young, and children that live in that vicinity, close proximity of that building, and I hope you deny it. Thank you.
Thank you. Patricia? I'm not even going to try to pronounce this last name.
My name is Patricia Cassica. I live at 5003 Oklahoma in the Kershaw Heights addition. I am also opposed to the marijuana dispensary or a grow area in this residential area because it will negatively impact the quality of life for the residents that live there. The air smells horrible. Downtown smells like a skunk. Sorry to say that, but you can tell when you're in a grow area. I believe it will also impact people, water, air, and wildlife that exist in the Honor Heights Park and around the surrounding area. Our own water system, every now and then in our bills, we get a cancer update of how much is in our water. I think we should clean up our own backyard without the use of chemicals. These are going to release chemicals in the air, cause breathing issues. There's 2 schools close by, Ben Franklin Academy, Pershing, and children are outside playing during recess. They walk home, and I have some more notes here I need to get to. We also live in a tourist area where we have the City of Lights at Christmas. We have the Azalea Festival. We have the Festival of Balloons that we just heard about this evening, and it's close proximity to where we live. You can't control the wind. You know, which way the wind blows is where you're going to start picking up these chemicals. It's a tourism area that I believe that, the castle is also there too, that once people find out that we have the big farm around the curve where Honor Heights Park is, they won't want to come and bring their families here. This is a family-oriented community where people come to pay and see these events. And I believe that the economy will suffer because of it, because me personally, I would not want to drive to another city where I have to smell the air that smells like a skunk and pay for this type of atmosphere, especially influence around children. They think it's okay to smoke marijuana because, well, hey, they keep putting up these dispensaries. How many more dispensaries do we need in this city? We have more now than I believe we have pawn shops. They're on every corner. Vaping was a big popular thing. Now we're finding out it's killing our children. It's giving them lung disease. But they still smoke it because it's the thing that young people do. Marijuana is also a good thing to do, according to them. So, also the transformer area where that big farm is around Honor Heights, I believe it's going to drain our grid, and the residents there are going to suffer because it takes a lot of power and energy to run those farms, and the residents are going to suffer because of a lack of power. So the lady before me mentioned that there are elderly and young children. What if it was your child or your parent that was on oxygen and all of a sudden the grid went down and you don't have a power generator? And so what are they going to do? I don't think it's worth sacrificing our grid for a marijuana farm. I really don't. I don't see the point of it. I'm retired now, and one of the things that I enjoy doing is sitting out in my backyard and just enjoying my home. With this in our neighborhood, I won't want to be outside anymore. I don't want to go out there and smell something horrible. So these are the quality of issues that I believe will impact our residential area in Kershaw Heights and surrounding communities. And so I am opposed to it.
Thank you. We will now close the public hearing and have discussion from the council.
Ms. Callahan, Madam Chairman,
Oh, I'm sorry.
may I?
Yes.
Ms. Callahan, did I hear you correctly when you stated that under the existing zoning classification, if there was potential for another tire shop to be there, they could not operate under the existing, that it would have to change to C2?
That's correct. The auto repair and automobile repair, used car lot is required to be under the C2 zoning classification.
So I guess what I would ask the chairperson to consider is I can't vote yes or no based on an assumption. I don't know what it will or won't be, but we do know for certain it can't be what it was under the existing zoning classification. Mr. Tucker will have to assist me on this. I don't know. It would defer to council regardless as a public hearing, but we can take no action.
That's correct.
I'd like us to have time to give Ms. Callahan and her staff the opportunity to figure out what are the potential uses that are being considered by the owner, and that'll give us a week to decide between now and then how we want to move forward. Because I'm fairly certain, Mr. Tucker, we can't arbitrarily and capriciously zone based on an assumption.
Or deny.
Or
Same
deny
thing, yeah.
based on an assumption. So I'd like us to table to Monday, whatever the language is, Mr. Tucker, so that we can give staff time to get more information. What would that be, a motion?
You would, will be taking no action because this has been published to be heard in committee and also in council. So it would just, you can take no action, you can move forward without recommendation, but you're not tabling, because tabling means that it would go back to another committee meeting.
Which is more,
So I would recommend moving forward without recommendation.
Madam Chair, that would be my recommendation, so we can get more information.
So we have, Roy, am I correct, a motion, and then we'll need a second? Or
Second. That's correct. You have a
Second.
motion to move forward to city council on next Monday, I believe that, what's the date?
11th.
11th.
Okay.
Move forward to the 11th without recommendation.
Okay.
Second.
Any more discussion?
I do just have a quick question, if I may, please. So, Tish, under this C2 general commercial, would that allow a grower to grow in that area if under that zoning classification?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Allows for dispensary, grow, processing.
Okay.
all medical marijuana.
But then they can grow as a C1 also. It wouldn't change.
With a special exception.
Yeah.
They'd have to come before the Board of Adjustment
So-
for a special exception. They just chose to do the rezoning rather than a special exception, if they're in fact growing. The only statement that we received was that they were looking for more lease options.
Ms. Callahan, when we come back on next week, can you come prepared to help us understand the difference between the special exemption rather, and the rezoning? I don't think we have time to do it tonight, but if
Okay.
you can come prepared next week so that we can hear
Yes.
those options as well.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
The motion passes. Item number 3,
Consider approval of the appointment of Benito Gay to the Muskogee Housing Authority, filling the expired term of Jack Farr, beginning October 1, 2021, and ending September 30, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Councilor Reynolds.
This is my item. Benito has come and filled out an application and would like to be on the board. And at this time, I would like to nominate Benito for the board.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
The motion passes. Item number 4,
Consider change order number 3 for automated meter reading system in the amount of $49,982.50, or take other necessary action.
yes.
The change order related to the automatic meter reading project is related to the contractor being ahead of schedule. And he basically installed 125 extra units and transmitters under the current schedule that would have been in phase 2. So we were happy with that. Also, there were charges related to battery disposal and the containers which they held them. So that is the current change order. And staff does recommend approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Madam Chair, I don't have a question for Mr. Reeves. I just would like to ask him that at some point, if he would ask staff to be prepared to make a presentation to the council on the use of these meters, because one of the questions that we, as well as the water department, constantly get questions on is meters. What side of the line is the cities? What side of the line is the residents? What side of the line is the business? I think it's probably time, since we're having so much activity, replace malfunctioning meters, that the council be brought up to speed on how they function and who's responsible for what.
Understood.
Thank you, sir. Move for approval.
Second. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Evelyn Hibbs. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
We have two signed up to speak. Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes, Derek Reed, 550 South 7th Street here in the city of Muskogee. I just wanted to take this opportunity to invite not only the council, but the entire community to join us on this Sunday, October the 10th. This day is a day that we will set aside to honor the life and the legacy of Miss Avalon Reese. Avalon Reese was first elected as a city councilman in 1972. This was a time when integration was new to the city of Muskogee, and this lady, with her courageous self, was elected the first African-American city council lady in the city of Muskogee. For that honor, she not only served in our community as a city councilman for 9 years, but she also dedicated 45 years to our school system. So a life well lived and well deserved of this honor. It will once again be held on October the 10th. And the way we will celebrate is that thanks to Avery Fricks, Councilman Ivory Venn, and myself, we petitioned the state and we were granted a honorary highway name changing in honor of Miss Reese. Miss Reese and the Reese home is located on what we call Main Street, which is Highway 64. So there will be a portion of that highway that will acknowledge Miss Avalon Reese as councilwoman. And once again, that's going to be on this Sunday, October the 10th, 2:30 p.m. We will gather on Main and Kalamazoo in the parking lot of the St. Mark Baptist Church. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Marlon Coleman, 500 West Broadway, Muskogee, Oklahoma. Madam Chair, I would respectfully ask that I be granted 5 minutes tonight instead of 3.
Make a motion to extend Mayor Coleman's time by 2 minutes.
Second.
Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
To my peers, thank you for your kindness and the extension of time. We are on the verge of reaching a new precipice where we can plunge downwards to a place of moving backwards or reach for the stars, knowing that the way forward is upward. Industries are now looking to relocate or expand in Muskogee. Technology jobs are now considering Muskogee through the lenses of untapped potential. In order for us as a council to lead the citizens of Muskogee to greatness, we have to look inwards and ask ourselves, are we willing to embrace change? Change is the enemy to the status quo. And for nearly 50 years or more, change has been hovering over the greens of green country, wondering when those of us in command of the runway will say to change, you're clear for landing. I think we are ready to say to change, you are clear for landing. This means that we can no longer listen to the voices of past practices, expecting different results for the future. Now is the time for us to be bold in our thinking and to block our ears to the voices of a long time past and defer to the ideology that newer can actually be better. And the motivation for our residents to be great lays in the hands of those they elected to make Muskogee a place where we can live, work, and play. We don't want what we've done just because it makes a handful of people comfortable. Living in a small group's comfort zone when their level of comfort is the status quo will get us nowhere. I'm asking this council, made up of friends and acquaintances, and sent to office to serve the will of the citizens, to be bold, be willing to be different, and be willing to be great. this opportunity that we have for change may never come again. We are blessed in our lifetime to have the age, the strength, and the will to make whatever changes are necessary to grow our city. For too long, we have lost young families to surrounding areas. For too long, we have said to businesses that this is not a business-friendly community unless you're in our business community clique. And now is the time for us to say to businesses, to young families, we're ready to be different, not tomorrow. We're ready to be different now. Let us remember that when we cast votes on issues, votes are not for the present. The votes we cast are for future generations. The votes we cast are not for our own longevity, but the votes we cast are for future generations of Muskogeans, so that people's grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and legacies to come will always choose Muskogee as home. Certainly, we hope that all of us will be alive to see the results of the change that we will put forward. But if we don't live long enough to see it, at least let us have lived long enough to make change available so that our community can be blessed, our city can be great, and our children and future generations can have a future right here in Muskogee. May God continue to bless our country, to bless our community, and bless Muskogee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. This concludes our Public Works Committee meeting for this evening.
Your special call.
We will now call to order the Redistricting Commission for October 4th, 2021. Roll call.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Ivory Van. Jamie Stout.
Here.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Here.
Alex Reynolds.
Here.
Stephanie Morgan.
Here.
Tracy McGee.
Here.
Tracy Hoos.
Here.
Item number 1.
Discuss and take action to select a chairperson for the Redistricting Commission.
Ms. Callahan.
Yes, as I don't believe anybody on this committee or council were serving 5 years ago, we need to elect a new chair for this particular committee.
Council, if it's your pleasure, the only person who would have served at that time would have been Councilman Reed. He would have been, I believe, a council person, while Deputy Mayor James Gully would have been the chairperson.
Chair.
And I'm going to depend on Derek's corporate memory to lead us through that process. And if it's the pleasure of the council, I would recommend that Deputy Mayor Derek Reed serve as chairperson of the Redistricting Commission. That would be my motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the commission? Roll call.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes. Item number 2.
Discuss and take action to select a vice chairperson for the Redistricting Commission.
Ms. Callahan.
Yes, for the same reasons, we would need to elect a new vice chair.
Members of the council, do you have a recommendation for vice chair? Based on silence, let me interject that if we have Deputy Mayor Derek Reed, who is also a council person for the west side of town, I would suggest that we have a representative from the east side of town for the sake of being certain that we are impartial and fair in our judgment. That would leave Councilors Hibbs, whoever else is on that side you'd like to serve.
Make that motion for Miss Evelyn Hibbs to be vice chair.
Second.
Deputy Mayor has and Chair has nominated Ms. Hibbs to serve as Vice Chair. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes. Item number 3.
Consider approval of Special Call Redistricting Commission minutes of December 6th, 2016, or take other necessary action.
Chairman Reed.
Okay, I guess my memory doesn't serve, so I guess I'm not really for sure what I'm doing here.
The last time, and have no fear, those that are serving chair and vice chair, you meet once every 5 years.
Okay.
So the minutes were from the 2016 redistricting committee meeting that we had when we reaffirmed the resolution, which we are asking for again. So those minutes just need to be approved 5 years later.
Present the minutes from 5 years ago if you guys would like to review those.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve our minutes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yeah, what's in the minutes? You want me to approve something? It's something here.
Are the minutes included in the packet?
Yeah, they were included in the
Oh,
packet.
okay.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Do we need Tammy to read them?
No, she don't have to read them. Don't read them, Tammy.
Twice.
All right, roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes. Item number 4.
Receive report from staff and consider approval of reaffirming Resolution Number 2368 without modification as previously adopted by City Council on August 8th, 2011, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan.
We're going to get everyone's memory. This is not only 5 years ago, but 10 years ago. The resolution 2368 was first brought before council, and it was in conforming with the charter, section 810, where they had required that on before December 31st, 2011, and then before December 31st of every 5th year, the Redistricting Commission will pass and submit to the City Council a resolution readjusting the wards if necessary. Those wards were established based on the population in 2011, and the resolution was affirmed at that time in 2016. We came before only Derek Reed at that time, but council was to show the population that was based off of the 2010 census, and those wards were reaffirmed without any change. Now we have come to 2011, 5 years later, and wanted to get the wards set if they needed to be changed or not prior to the election and the being signed up, I don't know what you call it, to run for the council before the November timeframe. And this was determined based on the 2020 census and looking at the different wards that there wasn't any significant change to the wards, how they are they're set up now. And the recommendation is to reaffirm the already affirmed resolution 2368.
I'm going to defer to Chairman Reed to navigate us through the rest of this discussion.
All right, so I guess the process will be from here, based on the census. Looks like, if I understand correctly, that all the wards that we have are pretty much balanced as far as size of, is that number that we get by population in those wards, or is that
Yes.
voting?
Yes, what we didn't know, there's not voting. It is based on the population from the census. And then we also have our GIS, the mapping operator, look at households or house rooftops. So then we kind of get it from, not only population rooftops times the 2.5 people that live in the, the whole census calculations. But we try to make sure that each of the wards are balanced. And also by the resolution and the charter is that we can't really split a lot of the voting districts, and that becomes very complicated, that if you get in and you want to move this neighborhood there, it does kind of convolute the voting districts, and we aren't allowed to do that. So we're pretty happy that it stayed the same, and there's not a lot of work that has to go into the wards.
All right. So with that being said, Mr. Chairman, it looks like we are pretty much balanced. And I know this is a duty that we are, after being inspired by your speech, we are forging the road ahead for the future. But for the current day, we are balanced. So if it be the pleasure of this council, I would like to make a motion that we move forward without any recommendations to the process.
Second.
Just to clarify, this would be to approve the resolution,
Yes.
making no changes? Okay.
Yeah. Is that me or you? You. Okay, I still got a job. I mean, I'm gonna put this down on my resume that I was chairman. I know my time is about to be up, but roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes, that concludes item number 4. Just before we have another meeting. Let's
Sorry.
go to the other meeting. We will now call to order the special call meeting of the Muskogee City Council for October 4th, 2021. Roll call.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Ivory Van. Jamie Stout.
Here.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Here.
Alex Reynolds.
Here.
Stephanie Morgan.
Here.
Tracy McGee.
Yes, I'm
Tracy
here.
Hous.
Item number 1.
Consider approval of the sole complete bid from Level Excavation LLC in the amount of $62,340 for the demolition and removal of remaining debris of 6 FEMA flood mitigated structures in the Meadows subdivision, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. I appreciate you letting me have this special call approval for this. It was, it's in a time constraint with our FEMA grant that we have. We are required to remove the structures within 90 days of closing on the properties, and that would be by the end of November. We do have, we had just one bid that was submitted that was complete. It was from Level Excavation. They are out of Alva, Oklahoma, and we have done the, we checked on the references. They all got rave reviews, City of Blackwell, City of Perry, Cherokee Strip. There were several projects that they have completed that they're very pleased with their work. They do have their insurance submitted, and they're ready to post their bonds upon approval and get started as soon as we get our utility locates. So staff would recommend approval to the Level Excavation in the amount of the $62,340. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Callahan. Do we have any questions for Ms. Callahan concerning item number 1?
Tish, what was left out of the one bid?
The bid bond. It's really a minor thing, but it is what is something that's required. And I hate that, but it is, makes it an incomplete bid.
Any other questions for council? I think my question would be for Mr. Tucker. I think we've had this conversation once before, that on these FEMA mitigated structures, that does mean that we will not allow building on those that are removed. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Because we're mitigating to the point that we never have this problem again.
That's correct.
Thank you. Further discussion from the council? Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes. The item passes. Before we adjourn, we would like to send our condolences to the family of C.R. Harris, who is a member of our Extra Eyes program, who recently passed away. He served over 21 years and put in over 15,000 volunteer hours. Certainly our Extra Eyes family is at a loss. We will be praying for the Harris family as we leave this place on tonight. We are adjourned.